Hey everyone, Father Andrew Dickinson, your pastor here at Sacred Heart, with a little update for you on November 11th of 2020. Talk a bit about COVID here in the parish, talk about what that means in the near future, and then just a general reflection on living in these COVID days. Well, some of you may have heard or seen that our associate priest, Father Kapperman, has received a positive test for COVID. And I, as his roommate here in the rectory, his housemate, member of the household, doing a quarantine, at least while I wait for results of a COVID test that I took this morning through Avera. So a little rundown on what that is and how that came about. So last week, Father Kapperman, on his day off, got his flu vaccine. And, taking care of himself after the flu vaccine, he noticed that on Tuesday night, overnight, he felt like he had a little fever. And so he let me know, and on Wednesday I took the elementary school mass, and as he was consulting with the nurses to figure out what to do, and they said, it sounds like, according to your symptoms, that it's probably just your body reacting to the influenza vaccine. And so Father Kapperman did the parish mass Wednesday night. I distributed communion. And then with some caution, though, going forward, just went about the rest of our duties that week, as Father Kapperman really didn't notice any development in his symptoms. Sunday morning, before the 7:30 Mass, Father Kapperman let me know that when he woke up, he ate his breakfast, which seemed fine, but he noticed he wasn't smelling much. It wasn't totally gone, but it was not smelling much. And so, what should we do? And we thought it'd be best to just pull him out of the Sunday morning rotation. He said a mass on his own here in the rectory, and he also called up Avera, and they recommended that he come in and get a test. And so he went in that morning and got a test. In order to get some space between us, just to see if there's a need to protect us in any way, myself from Father Kapperman. Father Kapperman went off to a parishioner who has a lake place around here, taking a few retreat days while he waited for his COVID test to return, so that if he was negative, we just could go back to normal operations pretty seamlessly. Well, Tuesday noon, Father Kapperman, that'd be this week, yesterday, Father Kapperman got the notice that he was COVID positive. And so I myself, too, as a member of the household, had to start quarantining. That was after I'd already said the Mass of the day here at Sacred Heart. As for myself, I haven't noticed any out-of-line symptoms, no fever, and the sniffles that you kind of get this time of year in the change of season, but nothing too out of sorts. None of the landmark symptoms, of course, of the high fever over 100 and no loss of taste or smell. But as with the symptoms I did have, just of the sniffles and living in the same household, I was able to get a COVID test for myself. Now, until that test result comes back, we're not having any public masses here at Sacred Heart. Not the normal daily masses, not the elementary school mass, not exposition and adoration. There will be a funeral mass on Friday. Father Griffin, thank you very much, Father Griffin. Father Griffin from St. Mary's, as members of the two parishes on the one vine here in Aberdeen, will exercise that sacred duty for our parishioner. But as for Sunday, right now I'm waiting to see if I get a negative COVID test and whether that would mean I'd be free to do the Sunday masses. Right now, though, we'd ask you to be attentive to your Sunday plans and be ready for some flexibility. Reminding you that if you miss Sunday Mass, but not through your own fault, there's no sin involved, right? Sin is always about your choice. And so if you come to Sunday Mass this weekend and the doors are closed and the sign's on the door, well, that's not your fault. You made the effort to get to Sunday Mass in that regard. I can't say for sure there'd be space here at St. Mary's, just because we want to observe other people's social distancing, but just keep that in mind. And again, I will put an update for us on the parish Facebook page and other avenues of communication when I get some clarity of my own test today. For sure, we'll be back to normal operations on Wednesday, November 18th. That's when Father Kapperman, if he has no other developments in his symptoms, will return to parish duties. So if Father Kapperman has no other developments, he'll come back to regular Mass and responsibilities on Wednesday, November 18th. I myself, again, waiting to see how things will go about and develop from there as I quarantine and wait for that result. Well, that's kind of an update on the state of things as they are and things to look forward to going forward. Just want to end, though, with a brief little reflection and encouragement for everyone in these COVID times. So my reflection for you about COVID is based upon my experience as a runner. Surprising, yes, I like to run. You may not be able to tell that from my slim figure because I also like to eat. But as a runner, I've learned that you have to learn how to run the race you're in. I learned that, I can run a 5K at an uncomfortable pace. That it's okay to be uncomfortable running a 5K because it only lasts for like 23, 24 minutes or less if you run faster. And it's okay to be uncomfortable for that long. I learned that with a half marathon, how I need to run and run my pace. I've never learned how to run a marathon. I've only done 2 marathons and starting to learn more about it, but I haven't learned how to run a marathon yet. Well, with COVID in South Dakota, we're having to learn how to run the race. This was one of my concerns back in April and May when there weren't a lot of COVID cases in South Dakota. Sure, there was the difficulties at John Morrell and the hardships that population went through. But for the broader state, there wasn't a big struggle. And my concern was always, are we running too hard out of the gate? The last full marathon I ran was in Mankato, and I felt so good the morning of the race, okay? Yeah, my training wasn't perfect, but I felt really good. And the morning of the race, I went out and I was running a full minute faster per mile than I'd planned on. A full minute a mile. What could go wrong? Everything went wrong, right? By the time I got to about mile 14 or 15, the wheels fell off, as the saying goes, and my pace just crashed. Okay, that was an unsustainable pace. So my concern for a long time for us in South Dakota is that we were running COVID with an unsustainable pace. In some ways, we were probably running our COVID warm-ups. And it seems like COVID maybe has really come here. Now, again, this is not a scientific, epidemiological, I don't know if I said that word right, reflection. This is just kind of a personal reflection. So I think for a lot of South Dakotans, maybe a lot of our parishioners, there's a thought that, COVID isn't a big deal. Because in some ways it wasn't when it wasn't here. But now in the past month and a half, it's really here, And so we got to be more attentive to it. So just encouraging you to be attentive in that way. And I had this reflection in my mind even before our own situation developed, by the way. This is not just reactionary on my part. No, this is just my own reflection and prayerful thought is just to encourage you that you're in the race. You're kind of in the real thick of the race now. Anyone can start a marathon, but it takes a lot of preparation, patience, endurance to finish a marathon. So just hoping we can bring this race to its finish. Know of my prayers, grateful for warm wishes and prayers people have already sent our way. Thanks be to God, we're doing well, and we've got good contact with the health systems here in town in case something doesn't go well. But make sure you're praying for all those healthcare workers as well, and all those who are sick, and all those who are lonely and isolated right now, and all those who maybe feel kind of fed up, right? Maybe they've been running hard at this for a while and tempted to be exhausted, maybe to give up the chase. Let's pray that we all endure to the finish, even though in this race we really don't know where the finish line is. But let's pray that we can endure and encourage one another in that endurance. I'm Father Andrew at Sacred Heart. God bless you.